very, very necessary. In what other ways do we celebrate women's rights, in the country as of now? I think our guest has joined us this morning. We are meant to be speaking with barrister Mrs. Emem Ete. Of course, she is one person that is very dexterous when it comes to issues that relate to women in the country. At this time, of course, we see that she was the former chairperson for FEREP. That was, apart from FIDA, I beg your pardon, under the former the last administration under the wife of the former governor, Dr. Martha Dome, and she's, really keen on looking at gender-based violence. She's a lawyer and an activist, of course. Barrister MMHA this morning. Good morning, ma'am, and thanks for joining us.
Hello, good morning. I hope you are hearing me.
Yes, we can hear you, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. How are you this morning?
Thank
And
you.
happy belated 50th birthday.
Thank you. It's a rainy day, weather for two, pregnancy for one.
Wow. Weather for two, pregnancy for one. We will remember to share that good word round, especially today that is the International Day for the Girl Child.
Yes, so when we are talking of right, that is part of what we are talking about.
Oh, wow.
Good people, yeah.
So today we are marking the International Day of the Girl Child, and we are looking at how we can override cultural, religious, and other biases for equity. We know that today's theme is centered on, helping the rights of the girl child, considering the well-being of women in the country. What does this day particularly mean to you as a woman who stands at the forefront to advocate for the girl child and women rights in the country?
Okay, it has always been an issue for me when we keep talking about girls' rights. Because we have one problem for the whole country, Nigeria, for example, the Constitution, which gives rights to all humans in Nigeria, all citizens, and even residents in Nigeria, they have rights. And they didn't say this is men's rights and this is women's rights or this is boys' rights or this are, girls' rights. Everybody have rights as guaranteed in the Nigerian Constitution. It is just sad that women and girls have to fight extra to have those rights given to them. And I can tell you confidently that the things that cause this struggle is our culture, is our tradition, is our religion. All of this made by men. When I say men now, I'm using both as it is written in the Bible, man, including men and women, not just the male folk. Society restricted the rights of women and girls and made them more of chattels than humans. And those biases are still going on even till today. In your introduction, you talked about some countries that are still, having biases against women and all that. In Afghanistan, as I'm speaking to you now, girls are not allowed to go to school.
Yeah.
Women are not allowed to work. It was only yesterday I heard that the other older women are, gathering young girls on the ground to teach in 2023. So when we talk about the Beijing conference and all the strides the United Nations have made to make sure that women have rights and all that, Afghanistan has taken us 10 decades back. And it is not just Afghanistan, it is what is happening all over the world and even in our community. So we must pay more attention to getting rights of women and girls than just giving deep attention to it. Yeah. We have to, we must, attend to the culture, our customs, our religion that is still oppressing and keeping women and girls under bondage in this country.
All right. Now, you've mentioned very key salient points: the culture, the religion, and other sentiment that have, kept the women in chains over time. One of the conversations currently also being shared is the fact that there is not enough legislations across board, including Nigeria, that looks out for the rights of women. So, as we celebrate this year's, International Day of the Girl Child, as a legal professional, what would you say can be done to change the narrative?
I will say that we have enough laws, though. We have the Constitution. We have the Violence Against Persons Law. We have some states now, we have the Women Inheritance Law. We have our judiciary. Now, actively, through judicial means, giving rights of inheritance and all that to women and girls. The problem we have is that even if we have laws, it is not people who keep laws. It is people who keep laws. But if we have laws and we have people who are not obeying those laws, then those laws have failed. So the issues we should address so that our laws will work is to change the mindset of our people, to change the mindset of the people in the inner or what do they call the nick and cranny of Uran, the deepest part of Uran.
Yeah, the rural areas.
The deepest part of Israel. And go to the deepest part of Hebron. Those hinterlands, to change their mindset, to see women and girls as humans. It is then that our laws will work, so that even the Constitution will work. Because in the Constitution, our fundamental human rights have been guaranteed. Under that law, we can go to court for whoever comes against it. We have the criminal code. We have the Violence Against Persons Law. We have enough laws. We have enough laws to protect women and girls. But when they are broken, do we have strong institutions where they can get redress? Will the police stand to defend a woman or a girl that has been abused? Or they will ask, what did you go to do? What did you do that they did this to you? What did they do that they did this? Our institutions, are they strong enough to protect? That is what we should be doing more laws. What the government should be doing now, what I as an individual should be doing now, what society, what you, Spectrum TV, should be doing now, is to see how government can strengthen these institutions, is to see how we can, as individuals, go in to talk to people, to change their mindset, to change our customs, not culture, particularly those obnoxious customs and traditions that seek to oppress women. Those are the things we should change. Not just to make more laws, plenty laws that people don't even know they exist. But if we go and change those cultures, let me shock you. I went to a secondary school and we talked about rape. And we asked a young boy, what are the causes of rape? He stood up and told me that it's because of the way girls dress. He heard it somewhere.
Yeah.
You understand? This is what people have been saying for years. Now they can use it. A young boy in JS1 will stand up and tell someone now that it is the way a girl dresses that causes rape. When we have babies as young as 3 months being raped, all women are as old as 80-something years being. So these are what we are talking about. These narratives, that have been going on for decades, that people have grown into and have accepted as the norms. Those are the things we should change, not more laws.
Okay, so another conversation that we have when we are looking at girls' rights, because it covers a myriad of issues and goes beyond gender-based violence. We are also talking about equity. We are also talking about equality, which has been some of the frontline conversations with regards to women in the country. How are we looking at these sustainable development goals to make sure that, like you rightly cited, in Afghanistan and other parts of the world, although the world has moved ahead grossly, there are women who are still in the Stone Age because of some of the activities in their nations. What is the United Nations doing, the European Union? What, is the place of all of these international communities to try and change the narrative in some of these nations?
Like I said, most of these organizations you talk about, they've been doing a lot. A lot has been going on. United Nations. I know we've been going to CSW in New York to talk about women's rights. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody is doing as much as they can. But then anything anybody does is subject to the norms and traditions and customs of each country or every community. Like we said, all that was done in Afghanistan, for example, all had gone down just in a stroke of a military taking over governance. Everything down the drain. So everything goes down to what are our beliefs. Do we really want this thing to happen? Do you really want change to happen? Do we really want these women to have voice? It will shock you that even people, professors, educated people, still have that patriarchal mindset that a woman is to be seen and not to be heard. We have to change those mindsets. That is what is the problem. That is the root cause of whatever inequality, whatever thing that women and girls are going through. So for us to have an equitable world, first of all, a woman or a girl should be seen as a human. Number one, a human who has rights, equal rights, just like a man, just like a boy. A woman who has rights, a girl who has rights to education, equal rights, equal opportunities. Equal chance to come into a class and you look at her as a student and not as a sex thing. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I don't know how to talk of big English. I'm talking of practical. When more girls get pregnant in school, more girls are molested. You cannot take equity and opportunity out of gender-based violence or gender-based inequality, because everything is based on that.
Okay, so
why are boys prefer to go to school than boys? Because because she is a girl. Why are they the ones giving out in early marriages? Because she's a girl.
These are really strong.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. These are really strong conversations, but let's attempt to bring it back home. I know that you are one of the very strong voices that we have in Akwa Ibom State on the front line of women and girls related issues, and you have been in the works for the past few years. How well would you say that we are changing the narrative in Akwa Ibom State, for instance? Because the African continent has its own issues. We have our own peculiarities. There are things that you will hear, a woman cannot do, a woman in this part of Orogonam in this part. So what is the progress rates that we have in Akwa Ibom State with regards to advancing the cause of the girl child?
What we have done is we have what we call the male advocacy group, because there's no way you are going to have this conversation without having the male speaking for you. By the time we have males speaking for us, speaking for girls, males who go out maybe doing their table tennis practice, or when they are doing football together, or when they are sharing a bottle of understanding together, and they talk about how it is better to allow girls it's better to do this for the women, to do that for the women. I think the narratives will change. We are trying to get males on the table to speak, for women and girls. By the time we have maybe 50% of men speaking on behalf of women and girls, I think we are going to make a huge difference. And we have 20 men right now speaking for women and girls in our Akwa State, and they are doing absolutely, well. And then another thing is to talk to our boys and our girls. Before now we used to talk to just girls. We are not just talking to just girls now. We are now also raising our boys to understand that these girls are equal with you. When we talk about equality, we are not taking your place as men. They are not taking your place as boys. You are a boy. You have your peculiar role. She has a peculiar role, but the two of you can work together and make a better world. So now we are training both boys and girls, to see, a community, a society where there's equity and justice. So we are not just talking to girls now. We are going to schools. We are talking to, last week we were at boys secondary school. What is it called? Sorry. Cardinal Ekanem seminary were there.
Okay.
And the boys there are excellent. They have an excellent understanding of our message. So we are able to raise those boys, you know, and then each parent raises their children, their boy children, to understand the peculiarities of their sisters, to understand the peculiarity of other girls around them, and understand that they are equal, and not the patriarchal equality that other older men carry around. Oh, they are going to take your place. We have to raise our voice to understand that when we say girls are equal with you, does not mean that they are going to drag your headship with you. You are a boy. Everybody understands that you are a boy. That you should also understand that she's a girl, and you have equal opportunities and equal place in the society. So that's what we are doing in Akwa Ibom. And that's why, last time we even had a boys' conference. We started a boys' conference for boys, to bring them on, because there is no way we are going to have an equitable society for our girls in our society if we do not bring our boys, if we do not bring our men on board. And then we do a lot of sensitization, because this is an awareness creation. And we do a lot of workshops, to build confidence in girls and boys, to make them understand who they are and how to stand their ground. And tell them society is not kind enough to give you chances. You have to grab your chances by yourself and create a space for yourself and fly higher and grab those jobs that were meant for boys that they said, oh, girls cannot do it. Go out for it. Go for sciences. Become medical doctors. Become a mechanic. Whatever a girl can be. Whatever you want to be. That is the messages we are taking to our schools. Because we have to catch them young. We have to catch them young so that they do not make the mistakes our mothers and us made while we were growing up.
All right. Talking about mistakes that our mothers made while we were growing up, I think at the beginning of the show I stated that if there is one legacy I'm proud of, is the fact that in my family, my father made it a duty to let us know that the girl child has equal rights just like we the male child. And that has stuck with me and the rest of my brothers and some other people who have had that growing. But we see most families, even the mothers, will intentionally train their female children to believe that they are inferior to the male children. So in these regards, how do we go about conscientizing the minds of the elder generations to know that we need to start from the very grassroots, the family, to set the right pace, to set the right training, if we are to see the kinds of transformation that we are looking for?
Okay, so that's why we take our sensitization to markets. We go to markets, we go to churches, we engage stakeholders, major stakeholders, to talk to our women. We go to women's fellowships. It starts them. It starts there. When our children are young, they listen to us, and it is what we tell them, that they take. So you cannot take your own experience, in which affected you negatively, and then you pass down that same message to your daughter, thinking that it will make a difference. When you know that thing you did, what your own mother told you, did not work well. And then you are taking the same message just because it is what he said. So we are going around churches because that's where you find a lot of women. We are going to markets where we find them. And then we go on, like now we are on TV or radio talking to people, showing them examples of how you can make your children better.
We need to be able to
That is it.
We need to be able to make our children, and our females better. But I think one thing you said this morning that we really, really appreciate is the fact that to make sure that life is comfortable for the girl child, we need to have these conversations, with the male folks in the country. And I think I'll still tilt a little bit to the position of the government in all of this. If we do not have, like you had rightly established, it is not a problem of laws and policies. It's rather a problem of implementation of laws and policies in the country. Now we have a new government in power. I know that you were close to works in the last administration. What is the body language of this particular administration so far as you attempted to permutate in order to make sure that life is good for the Akwa Ibom child? You know that in past years, before the administration of the likes of Godswill Akpabio came about, we used to have a lot of issues with name tagging and all kinds of things that made life really difficult. But over the years, we've navigated from there. It's a new administration. what do you have as a vision to continue to push the narrative of a safe space for the girl child?
Oh, we did not stop. We have the Akwa Ibom State Gender-Based Violence Management Committee, which is headed by the wife of the governor. So that committee did not, go with the former governor, the wife of the former governor. It continued because Her Excellency, Pastor Mrs. Patience Omoino, has stepped into the position as chairperson. And as last week, we had meetings and we have, drawn up our work plan and what we are doing for Akwa. We are continuing. Sorry, we are continuing our work. It never stops. We're still going on with our sensitization. We're still going on with all the work we're doing because the Gender-Based Violence Management Committee was not just it wasn't a pet project, or it wasn't the project of Dr. Martha Udom Emmanuel. It was a state project, and it comprises of members from line ministries, civil servants that are still in service. So it is a committee that will, outlive administration. That is one of the, things that were put in place to ensure sustainability of this fight against, of this fight for the rights of women and girls in Akwa Ibom. So government has instituted that committee, and it's going to outlive every administration. So we did not stop working even when there was a transition, and now that we have begun, we were still working, we were still going out on sensitization. I'm still receiving complaints. We are still prosecuting criminals. We are still, publicizing people we have convicted and all that. We never stop. So this government is on all fours, and His Excellency Pastor Moino has committed, to ensuring that he continues from where his predecessor stopped, and he has even injected more, into giving us more work and more areas to cover to ensure that and Akwa Ibom women and girls have a conducive atmosphere to work and live in the state. So the state government is on all fours, and from next week you will start our school sensitization. We have about 2,800 schools in Akwa Ibom, and we have divided into 3 territorial districts, and we are going around those schools, to distribute the training manual we had done, on GBV. We have to go to also distribute the referral pathway of the state and all that. We are going to all these schools. We are also going to churches, So from next week, you will get a lot of activities. We are going to invite you, to come and cover those events as your corporate football responsibility, etc. So we are going to call Spectrum TV if we have to be there. We are going to call Planet TV if radio comes and cover our events, so that when we talk to this student, you can also, put it into your TV, your radio too, so that a lot of other Akwa Ibomites will hear about what we are doing.
Wow.
So we are on course and we are going on. Yeah.
Very, very great. So we talked about the fact that today's theme, this year's theme, is investing in girls' rights, and you've covered the fact that the likes of Pastor Omoino are making great investment, and they're saying invest in our rights, our leadership, and our well-being. Let's touch a little bit just before we let you go this morning. Women in leadership, political positions, 35% affirmative, because these are also right. We are not seeing a lot of women representation in politics. It is taking a toll on the kinds of policies that are brought about, to cover women rights in the country. What are your thoughts with regards to women in leadership across all spheres in the country, the world over?
Yeah. Well, first of all, they say that women are more than men. Is that not what they say?
That's what they say.
So what we should do is that women, we should use our numbers. Let us start first. Let's not, if government will not give you a seat, women, we should create seats for ourselves. Let's come together and come and say, come and run for governor. And then all the women in Akwa will say, will vote for me. Would I become governor? I will become governor. So let women come together first. Before we talk of government giving us seats, let women come together and give themselves seats. Let them do someone to say, go and represent us at the House of Assembly. Come out and vote. And not be intimidated. The only thing government can do for you is to create an enabling environment to ensure that you don't suffer any violence or discrimination in the field of play. But first of all, let us be determined. The girl child, let us be determined to become something and be fearless in the face of any threat. up, other people will understand that we are serious. And our women before us did it. They are not women riot. Women speak and people hear. You understand? So in politics, when it comes to position in politics, I always say, let women themselves first be serious with ourselves. Let us determine and bring out people who have voice to go and represent us. So that they will, if they get into the place of, when they get into office, they will be able to hold that door open for other women to come up. Let's change the narrative and start supporting each other. If we decide today that the next governor of our province will be a female, we will get it. After all, we are plenty. Let us not wait for 7 women to go and marry one man. Let 7 women push one woman to become a leader.
Words on marble. Words on marble. It's been such a great conversation. I don't know if you have.
Well, I just ask one last question, Barrister, before we let you go. Now, in all of these, how do we begin to engage? How can we engage the traditional institutions? Because, like you've mentioned in the course of our conversation, one of the biggest problems is the hinterlands, where these advocacy is not really much being felt. So the only way for us to reach those locations is through community leaders, the traditional rulers, and all of that. So what has the conversation been like, particularly back here in the state?
Yeah, well, recently, I think last month, we made a courtesy call on the Okivome Council with the State Traditional Rulers Council, and we talked to all the power rulers were there, and we spoke with them and told them what should be done, or what ought to do, or what is right to be done, and they heard us. When we are in the public like that, in the meeting, everybody will say, yes, we will do it, we will do it, we will do it. But whether we implement it is another thing. And so it is not just to talk to the community leaders, it's also to talk to the community people too. Because by the time the people say, no, we do not want this again, even the ruler cannot force them to want it. So we talk to them first, so that because they are gatekeepers, they will open the doors for us, and we go in and talk to the other people in the community to see how we can sensitize and change their mindset. So we engage from the leaders, from the head, even to the least people in our communities, to ensure that we are able to change the traditional landscape of the state. We are doing that.
Thank you very much, Barrister Int'l, of course, an activist in her rights and a very serious advocate against gender-based violence. We've heard her speak very passionately in commemoration of this year's celebration of the International Day of the Girl Child, how we can foster equity and other needs in the society. She has said something very strong this morning. Let the women not wait until 7 women marry one man. Let's take our numbers and turn it into an advantage across all spheres of life. Thank you very much for coming on the show this morning, and we do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Day.
Thank you, Barrister. Have a great day.
Beautiful conversation. I think I'm going to put her words on marble like everywhere. There's a lot more women can do with their numbers and the strength. I know that when we have conversations on these kinds of days, we have been pushing, all of those equity and equality conversations, women for women kinds of things. And I believe that in the course of time, we are making progress, and in no, distant time from now, we should begin to have some great, results as a result of some of these impact. Well, we would say that for you today, take advantage of this celebration and reach out to a girl child. You can go to the orphanages, you can go on the streets, you can invest in your friends, people around you. Encourage a female today, a career woman, someone in business, someone who has a gift. Let a woman feel loved and cherished, and help amplify the voice of a woman today. We will be creating a safe space for all of us in the country. We'll take a quick break now. When we return, we'll be bringing you Daily Spotlight, where we bring you information from the front pages of our national dailies. Do stay with us.